Welcome, Warriors of Light. Thank you for clicking on this video. If you will, take a breath with me to start. So today, I'm on vacation, so I wanted to make a video about how we can bring vacation into our everyday life. Now, some of you may be thinking, oh, that's absolutely impossible. How could I possibly bring vacation into my everyday life? I can't just take all of this beautiful scenery and cram it into my, well, I mean, actually you could if you wanted to like make a picture of this your wallpaper or something, but you know what I'm saying. So I'm going to be talking more about the experience of vacation, and we're going to distinguish what it is to be on vacation versus what it is to be at home. So you might have experienced before you go on vacation, like the day before, 2 days before, if you have an office job or if you go to school, you'll just be sitting there and you'll get an assignment from your teacher or you'll get something to do from your boss. And because you're 2 days away from vacation, it's not a big deal. You're just like, okay, I'm gonna just do this or not do this. I'll just deal with it later. It's not a big deal, whatever. You can have a stack of work on your desk or a stack of homework that you have to do. But because you're about to go on vacation, it just doesn't really matter, right? And then fast forward 2 weeks, you're sitting there on the beach and you got a nice drink in your hand, and all of a sudden a plane passes in the sky and you think to yourself, oh shoot, I have to go home tomorrow. And then all of a sudden everything starts flooding back in, right? And you might as well not even be on the beach anymore. You might as well be back at your desk or back at home needing to do your homework or needing to do whatever work you got to do or reply to whatever emails you have to reply to. So then why is it exactly that the location or the circumstances don't dictate our experience of it if we can be so easily swayed by whatever it is that's really going on in our experience, right? Well, think of what's actually happening in both of those circumstances is that we are living into this future of going on vacation or this future of coming back home from vacation. And we're living into the future so strongly that we're not even present in the actual location that we're at. We're somewhere in our minds of this image of what the future is going to look like, what it's going to be like, what it's going to feel like, how we're going to feel when we're there, right? And so many of us, we burden ourselves with these negative projections of our futures. And we have created these futures or not created these futures. We have wound up stepping into these futures that don't excite us and that don't bring us joy, that don't bring us well-being, that don't bring us peace of mind and fulfillment. So how do we bring that back? How do we carry the energy of vacation into all of our life circumstances? How do we carry that peace of mind, that freedom, that ease? Well, it's simple in concept, but not so much in practice. Just like most things that are of a spiritual nature or of a self-growth nature. So in concept, essentially all we have to do is create a future that's worth living into. Create a future that feels like a vacation, okay? For ourselves, how do we orient things in such a way in our mind that when we think of it, we think of peace, we think of happiness, we experience those bodily and emotional sensations versus whatever it is that we already have going on right now. And really, to do that, we have to acknowledge and be aware of, bring awareness to whatever it is that the default future that we have right now for ourselves is. And so what does that mean? What default future? Well, based on the way the brain works, it's a record of the past, right? So just like any type of process that is going to try to be the most efficient, right? Because our brains take efficiency first, unless we interject our awareness into it, which is why it's always easier to do things that we've done before than it is to do something new. Because doing something new requires more energy, more work. We have to create new neurotransmitters in our brain, and that's difficult. I mean, it's more difficult than taking the one we already have. But think of it like this. It's the difference between taking a road that goes like this, zigzag all the way around places that it doesn't need to go to get to from point A to point B, to creating a new path from point A to point B that's a straight line. Now it's going to take more work to pave that road. You're going to have to remove whatever's already there. Okay, you're going to have to get rid of anything that isn't in accordance with the road. But once you build it, you'll be able to take that road. And every time you take that road, it'll get easier, it'll get stronger, it'll get more fortified. And you'll be able to take that road instead of going all this way to get to the same place. Or you'll go to a completely new place entirely, because the roads that you may be on right now may be taking you somewhere that you don't want to go. Now this is all metaphorical, but you can directly translate it to our neurotransmitter process, the way that our brains work. So we have this brain that does things accordingly to how we've done it before in the past. And then you have this awareness, you have this being that is separate from your brain. Some might say that it exists in the prefrontal cortex. I don't know. If you cut open the prefrontal cortex, you're not going to see a consciousness. But if we say that our awareness is separate from our brain and our body, then we can say that we have an awareness and we have a brain, and the brain has neurotransmitters. But when we bring the light of our awareness onto our brain, we can actually utilize the functions of our brain for a purpose that is more in line with our intention. So for example, if I am currently forecasting into my future everything that's been going on in my past, right? Then what's most likely to happen in the future is a projection of what's already happened in the past. Now, you might not think that, right? We like to think that we're going to be different or that we're going to change, but unless we're putting conscious, actual awareness and effort into having something different happen, laying out that foundation, creating the new pathway, there's nothing stopping us from going down the exact same pathway we've always gone down before. Might look a little bit different, right? That's why there's the proverb, the wise people say that no matter where you go, there you are. Because even if your circumstances are different, even if the things around you might be oriented in a slightly different way, no matter where we go, we have to deal with ourselves, our own habits, our own patterns. That's mental, that's physical, that's everything that we do is habitual, unless we put the light of awareness into it and create a new habit and create a new pattern. So what we can do is we can actually recognize what our past has been, see how it bleeds into our future and how it makes us feel about our future experience of life that hasn't even happened yet. Begin to see that that's how it was created, and then acknowledge it, okay? Because here's the thing, there is no fixing. This isn't a fixing process because there's nothing broken. The brain is doing exactly what the brain is supposed to do. The brain is meant to be a machine that predicts. The brain is meant to be a logical thing that uses whatever way of thinking, formulaic thinking that we use, right? At least part of our brain is meant to be used that way. So we can actually utilize that to our advantage, we being the awareness, because we're not the brains, we're the awareness. So if we take that part of our brain and recognize, okay, this is the way that it's going to go if I keep doing this, so that we can realize, okay, if I'm going in this direction, then that gives me indication that I need to sidestep. I need to do something different. I need to re-realize my intention. Because when you do that, you're able to actually interject your awareness into the habitual patterns that we've already created, and then we can do something different. Because if we don't realize it, if we don't recognize when we're in the middle of a neuro pattern, then we just fall right back into the same thing. It's just this constant, perpetual cycle. And that's not what we want. So we create a future that inspires us. You know, like I'm creating a possibility in the future. I'm creating a future that is full of abundance. I'm creating a future that's full of love. I'm creating a future that's full of excitement, that's full of adventure, that's full of spiritual growth, that's full of physical um, just harmony, okay? That's full of just amazing, loving, beautiful experiences with amazing, loving, beautiful people. Now that future inspires me to wake up and live into this feeling of abundance, this feeling of love, this feeling of tranquility, peace, and also do whatever work I have to do. But I'm not going into the work with this mindset of that it's something that's drudging, or that it's something that's painful, or it's something that that I have to do or I'm forced to do. No, it's all part of this beautiful future that I'm creating for myself and my life that inspires me and keeps me going. Now, whatever that is for you, you have the ability to create it. And it's going to take recognizing what's already there, putting it aside, and then creating something absolutely new. Don't base it off of the past. Don't base it off of the projected future. You're creating something entirely new. And then when you start to do it, you can actually notice, hey, I'm doing these things that are pulling me towards the past that I used to be like, or the future that is more of a projection of the past. No. Let's switch directions. Let's go back to that possibility that we created. Let's go back to that new future that we created, because that's the only way that we're going to actually be able to augment our direction in a way that we want to go. So when you start doing that, you start actually fulfilling on the actions that it's going to take to fulfill on that future that you created. Then you start living in a different frequency. You start living in a different experience. You can then really have every day feel like a vacation in some sense. You can have every moment feel free, feel peaceful. Doesn't matter where you are. You could be in a beautiful location. You could be at work. You could be at school. And it's just beautiful because wherever you go, there you are. And if you are in a beautiful, peaceful, amazing vacation space all the time, no matter whether you're solving a problem, no matter whether you're dealing with something that went wrong, okay? There's always going to be things that come up in life. But if you can orient yourself and your being in a way that's peaceful, in a way that's loving, in a way that's just this beautiful emanation of omnipresence and just like unconditional love, then life happens, and there you are, and everything is beautiful, and everything's a vacation. So thank you for watching this video. Go and create your futures. Go recognize what you've been pulling out from your past into your future, and start creating a new one, and then following it. Don't forget to do your practices. Don't forget to do everything that you got to do to make yourself feel amazing, make yourself feel happy. And remember how powerful you are. Remember how beautiful you are, how intelligent you are, and how amazing you are. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.